Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strong Start Sundays. I am your host, Dr. Rachel Edoeket, and I am so excited to see so many of you out there tonight. We would love for you to come on, let us know who you are and what your position is and where you are tuning in from. I already see Dr. Sonia Matthews. We are so excited to see you tonight, doing Maryland proud, and thank you so much for coming here. This is going to be an amazing conversation. Now, I have been looking forward to meeting with Dr. Salone Thomas L for so many weeks now, and we are so excited to welcome you on the platform tonight. Welcome, Principal L.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to this strong start on a Sunday and a strong start to a week as well.
Yes. Well, let me just tell the audience a little bit about who you are and so many of the amazing things that you are doing and have done. You are truly a legend in the field. And what I love about you is you are so student-centered. So this conversation is really a treat for all of us tonight to have your perspective, talking about what you do as principal. And so Dr. Salone Thomas L is principal of Thomas Edison Charter School in Delaware. It's a K-8 school, so it's a really unique school. And he also had experience being a leader in the Philadelphia public school system. Principal L, how many years total have you been in education?
I am just entering my 40th year as a teacher and principal in education, and I'm so excited still, each day. It's a tough job, but it's a calling, as you know.
Yes, that is absolutely incredible to have 40 years. And I just think about the impact, the level of impact. And I know everyone's going to hear it tonight as we're having this conversation, but the level of impact that you have is absolutely legendary. And I know that your students and staff and community members are so blessed to have you as the leader in their school. So let me tell the audience a little bit about Principal L, and then we're going to share a couple of announcements to get started and then dive right into this conversation. So Principal L is the author of many best-selling books. I have a list of them. One is called Passionate Leadership. Another is called Building a Winning Team. He has another book called Retention for Change. He also has a book called I Choose to Stay, which I know we're going to hear a lot more about tonight. And his most recent best-selling book is called Meet Their Needs and They'll Succeed. And I know so many of you on the call have already read that book and have so many amazing things to say about that book. I know Dr. Matthews is someone who definitely has read the book and just speaks so highly of it. So if you have not had a copy of that book yet, please pick it up. It's available on all platforms. I also want to take this opportunity to share about our book. Dr. Johnson and I wrote Relational Intelligence, the Key Factor to Exceptional School Leaderships, just for you, just for school leaders and aspiring teacher leaders who want to get more deep with our relationships. We talk a lot about the need to retain teachers. I know Principal L feels the same way. We're all kind of in the same boat we know our teachers have choices. I like to describe it as a seller's market. Right now, our teachers are choosing. They get to choose a buyer's market. They get to choose where they want to be. And so it's important for us as school leaders to make sure that our teachers and staff want to come to our schools every day because they have a choice. They definitely have a choice in what they do. So our book really helps school leaders think of ways, what are the behaviors, what are the actions that we can do to support our teachers? And so, Principal, I'm going to give a couple more shout outs because everyone is so excited to see you tonight. We have Coach JL. It's wonderful to see you. He said, we are ready to be 1% better. Let's go. Thank you. And then we also have Chanel Martin saying, let's go, Principal L. So you have some great fans tonight. And we have Jeff Milner here. Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're really looking forward to our discussion. Thanks for sharing that.
And Rachel, let me tell you who Chanel Martin is. She's actually a former student of mine from Philly.
Nice.
Who's now a school leader in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Right? We talk about, and I remember her from years, you talk about that student-centered leadership and that student voice. She was always an advocate, very heavily involved in the schools, student government. So shout out to Chanel for all the great work she's doing, in the schools, as a teacher and then, as a leader. So I'm so proud of her.
I love it. That's absolutely beautiful. And again, I'm big on legacy. And so the fact that one of your students is now a school leader walking in your footsteps just speaks so highly to who you are, Principal L, as a leader. And Chanel, just you kind of carrying that torch forward and
Yes.
impacting a whole nother group of people is what we all strive to do. So thank you for lifting that up, and welcome, Chanel. We're so glad that you're here tonight. And we know that this information is going to continue to help you as you make that positive impact in your school. So thank you again for being here tonight. I want to shout out FETC because I had an opportunity to be a featured speaker there this week. And one of the things that I talked about during my sessions was around mentorship and legacy building. And that is exactly who Principal L is. And through Chanel and probably many other former students who are just impacting positively in their communities is major. So thank you again. Dr. Matthews is lifting up, just legacy is what it's all about. And that is so true. So we really want to jump into this conversation tonight around student-centered practices, because it is so important that we take time to amplify our students, to amplify their voices. You know, sometimes, Principal L, I've heard people say things like, we're going to give students a voice, or we're going to give them these things. And I always have to say, students already have a voice. They are consistently using their voice. The question is, are we listening? Are we listening to what our students have to say? And so tonight we're going to be talking about 3 strategies that are going to help all of us really think about how we can empower our students using their voice and improving our schools as a result of the influence of our students. So the first strategy we want to talk about is how we can build strong relationships with our kids and that sense of belonging. And I want to start here with Principal L, because Principal L has an amazing framework called the 4 C's. And I want him to explain and share more about those 4 C's.
Yeah, those 4 C's really come out of the work, as you said, in building those relationships with students. And you started off by talking about the power of listening. Listening can be healing for some people. So, all you leaders and potential aspiring leaders out there, understand the power of listening and hearing. Your emotional intelligence builds from what you learn, from others. And listening not only to adults, but listen to those children. Dr. Rachel, as you know, we learn so much from them. Those 4 C's, and they are the foundation for my book, Meet Their Needs and They'll Succeed. Crazy about kids. I truly believe that every child deserves to have at least one person be crazy about them. Our goal should be that there should be no child in any school. Someone comes in and says, who is the person that you can count on? They should be able to name that person. Number 2 is being curious about their lives outside of school. It's great knowing about those students academically in school and what they're doing, but what kind of community do they come from? How are their families? There's some communities in other countries, especially in Africa, where the first question is, how are the children? Right? If we want to know how the community is, how are the children? And then we also want to be consistent. So consistent adults and allow the children. You understand the power of consistent adults, not having principal after principal after principal, teacher after teacher. That's that sense of security, that routine for young people. And then finally, a culture of love and support and belonging, making sure those students feel included, valued, and heard.
Yeah, so powerful. And I just, the one that stuck out, they all stick out to me, but the one that really sticks out to me is that crazy about kids. You know me, I'm someone who was a former kindergarten teacher, turned an assistant principal into a principalship. So that alone, that pathway was a little bit different. But when I say I'm crazy about kids, I love students. I love learning their names. I love hearing the conversations. You and I are both similar in this way. We go into the cafeteria and we just hang out with students. We get to know students outside of the classroom. And that is so important because children are coming to us with so many different and unique experiences. And a lot of times the way that a student feels special is when the principal, when the assistant principal, when the teachers know their names, when they come up to them and ask them, I am so excited to see you. I've been waiting to see you. Just imagine how that feels to a child when you say, I've been waiting to see you and I'm so glad that you're here. That is what every child deserves to hear every single day. So
Amazing.
I really appreciate you lifting that up.
No doubt. And and what I say to children, which really floors them, is I tell them, I loved you before I ever met you. So there's
Oh,
nothing that you can do to stop me. You can call me any name you want, and you and I talked about how, these little kindergarten and first grade students, they will make sure that they use your title and they won't let anyone not call you Mr. or Doctor. Please
okay.
make sure. But that's all about the love, the belonging, and also those students knowing that we care and we'll be there, for them. So it's
Yes.
it's an it's an honor.
Yes, it is an honor and a privilege to serve children. And I love that you lifted that up because you and I talked off script about that, how the children call me Mrs. Dr. Edo Eckett. And you said, hold on, you got even a longer title than
Right.
Mrs. Doctor. What do you have?
They called, I had a little first and second grader was in the office and called me Mr. L or Miss something, and the student said, "No, you can't call him by his first name. You got to call him Mr. Doctor Principal L." And it's just so the little things that they think about, because in their hearts and their minds, they know that we see ourselves in them and they see ourselves in us. I think about Chanel, how I used to watch her walking home to school, and how I would met with, work with a mom and went to their church, and that kind all of that is a part of being in the community and showing those students that we understand who you are and we want to build those relationships. Talking, like you say, in the lunchroom, at recess, anywhere we can, after school program, just make those connections that go beyond the surface, and those relationships will last a lifetime.
So true. I want to lift up some amazing people who have joined in the conversation. I want to lift up Maria. So excited to see you. We've been connecting online and we're just so glad that you're here today. Thank you for being here. I also want to lift up Latrice Younger. Thank you so much. She says she has her shirt from Principal L. I choose to say she still has that. How powerful. And thank you again, Latrice,
Yes.
for being here tonight. We are welcoming Zelda. Zelda, I'm not sure where you're coming from, but thank you for being here and spending your time with us. We know your time is valuable. We also have Dr. Alicia Blackwood. She is tuning in. She says she teaches in South Africa, and she said that means I see you. So thank you for lifting that up, and thank you for being here tonight.
Wow.
Dr. Matthew is also sharing some important feedback with us. Just that unconditional love is so important to model. That is so true. Our students really need that. One of the things I think about when we talk about attendance, we know attendance is so hard for so many families right now, but having that trusted adult that Principal L talked about, making sure that each child has one person. And how do we know that? What are some strategies that we can use for that? I know in the past, we've had staff meetings where we've written down every child's name in the building, and staff members will walk by and check off if they've had interactions with that student. And we are looking specifically for students who do not have that marked by their name. And we know we need to then pair up students with a trusted adult. And so that's a strategy that you can use to let children know, as Maria said, that we see them, and more importantly, that we know them. Not just that we see them, but also that we know them, and we are excited that they're here with us learning. Zelda is also lifting up that intergenerational connection, like Principal L just said, going to church, going outside, meeting the parents, working with families is so critical to the success of our students. Keep those comments going. Zelda, I see you're from California. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now we want to transition into our second point, and that is really around promoting student agency and student choice and voice. This is such a critically important part of our work. A lot of the times we are focused on our teachers and staff and making sure that they are supported and that they have a say in how our school culture is built. But I also want us to consider, what do you have in place for the students in your building? And I want to just lift up something that we're doing in our school that's powerful. And I know Principal L is also going to share something that's working in his school. Our fourth and fifth graders, in conjunction with our school counselor and one of our fifth grade teachers, have a leadership program and a leadership group just for our fifth graders and fourth graders. And it's been really powerful to have the students sit down and to come up with ideas for how they want to impact our school. So we've moved beyond, it used to be, let's pick the spirit days. Okay, what do you want to wear this day? We're doing twin day, we're doing hat day. That is, I would say, an exciting but lower level of student choice and voice. But what we said this year was, we wanted our students to participate in some community action, some volunteer work. And so our students came up with an idea to do a sock drive. And we love that idea because socks are very important, and there are very many families in need who need those toiletries and socks and those sort of items. And so our students set a goal of 600 pairs of socks, and they started to make posters, and we started to advertise in our community. When all was said and done, we had over 900 pairs of socks to distribute and donate to the community. And just think about what that meant for our students. Our students said, we have a problem and we want to get involved to solve that problem. And they worked hard to make it happen. And the pride that the students had in reaching a goal and then exceeding that goal was so very powerful. And we know our students are amped up again because they want to do another community service learning project. So that's just the power of one example. But I do want you to reflect and think about, how are you utilizing students within your building? Students can do so much more when we give them that opportunity to contribute to the school community. Principal L, can you give some examples of how you are also incorporating student choice in your work?
And I love the example you gave, because being curious about the lives of students, which is one of the 4 C's, allows you to tap into what they need. So when they start that community service, that we know exactly to go right to what the kind of support those students and families need. And in our school, at Thomas Edison, Wilmington, Delaware, of course we have student government. We actually have a program with DelRec. This is the Delaware Law Related Education Center, where attorneys come into our school, present scenarios to students, and the students debate and argue different sides. And they already talk about wanting to apply to law school. And I told them, you got to be a real advocate if you're going to go to law school. But we also have a bank at school program for students from kindergarten to 8th grade, and non-custodial accounts, meaning they own and run their own accounts, not them, their parents, not the teachers, they do. So they can talk about how much money they want to deposit. And then we also have programs where our 7th and 8th graders can give us ideas for classes they like. And then we develop the classes, and they choose the classes that they want to attend. Elective courses, giving them input, giving them buy-in. That's why I tell them, there's no way you're going to miss my class. You chose this course. You designed it. So all about giving them an opportunity to weigh in, because there should be nothing about us without us. So that's how we want to do it.
I love that. And just listening to what you're saying, I'm thinking about financial literacy. I'm thinking about how those programs are not present in every school, but how powerful are they? When I was growing up, I learned how to write checks, but I didn't learn how to balance a checkbook. I had to learn that at home. And so I love that your school provides that level of programming for students, and that they are making those financial decisions early. That's so important for children to know, that they have that agency, that they can make some decisions. Law school, amazing for children to be thinking about that on the elementary and middle school level before they get to high school, right? All of those really do help to guide and form students, give students options for what they want to do in their lives. So thank you for sharing that. I want to lift up a couple more people who just came on. We have Antonio joining us all the way from Angola. I'm not sure what time of day it is in Angola, but thank you so much for being here. Yes, I told you we are worldwide.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. And we also have Yahara joining us from Nigeria. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Please continue to leave your comments. I see Dr. Jeter Jeter. Thank you for being here, Jeter. We are good evening from Illinois. We're so excited to have you here, and thank you for joining in. And you have another shout out from her. She says, hello, Dr. Salome Thomas L. So thank you for doing that and for being here. We also have some ideas that, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's Coach Dot. She's such a supporter, always on Principal Kafele's Saturday Academy and so many others. So I want to give a shout out, to her. She lifts up so many others, because we know lifting others is important. Empowering others, an important aspect of leadership. So thank you, Coach Dot, and all those, especially my folks here from Africa. I spent a week in Nigeria. I don't know if you're aware. I know you. I remember you went to Africa last summer.
Yes, I did. Amazing time in Ghana.
Yes. Great experience.
Yes. So, and she's actually giving some shout outs to other people as well. Stacy Joy, Jacqueline Harriet, Dr. Joe Griffin, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Sean Hurt, Principal Kafele. She's given some amazing shout outs. So thank you for that. We have a question for you, Principal L. They're wondering where your school is. Can you tell us? I think you said it's in Delaware. Is that correct?
I'm in Wilmington. I'm in Wilmington, Delaware, and Newsweek had Wilmington on the covers for several years ago and called it Murder Town, USA, because of the crime, the murder rate per capita. But that shows you how important it is to build the support for these young people. And when we talk about agency, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Deron Ford is on there, and he read my book, and in my book I talk about my Saturday school. He adopted the Four Seasons down there in Newport News, down in Virginia. He has a Saturday school, has students making omelets for other students to come to Saturday. Said he had the largest attendance ever. I said, yeah, those omelets, they come out for the omelets. So shout out to brother Dr. Deron Ford, principal in Virginia as well.
I love it. And, we can learn so much from each other. So I appreciate you lifting that up. We already talked about attendance. We have to be creative with really giving students incentive to come to school. Not every student is going to wake up and say, I'm excited to come to school. We have to help create some of those conditions in that environment to really bring students on into the building. I also want to welcome Tyler Williams. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with us tonight. And the CEO of Teacher Goal is here, Elena Clark. I'm so excited I got to see you in person during FETC. That was amazing. And thank you for your beautiful smile. I just love seeing you. And thank you for your support and entrusting me and Dr. Johnson to write a book for Teacher Goals. So we really appreciate that. So I want to listen. Didn't I say it was going to go fast, Principal L? We are 22 minutes into this conversation. So I told you it was going to go fast.
Yes.
But I want to talk about our last strategy, and that is really about creating those joyful moments for kids, creating those relevant learning experiences. I know, Principal L, you already talked a little bit about those relevant learning experiences, about financial literacy, but can you talk to us about the joy? Tell us about that joy, and I'm going to share a story as well.
Well, the joy for me is,
what's some of the joyful things that you love about kids?
Yeah, and I believe that we need to create these joyful and resilient cultures.
Sorry, we had a little bit of a delay. I apologize. Can
you're freezing up a little bit on me.
Yeah, is okay. My apologies, everybody. Sorry about it. We're going to keep going. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. It's going in and out on me, though.
My apologies. On.
But I truly believe I'm gonna keep talking until you let me know when you want me to stop, just in case you can hear me.
While we go ahead.
Yeah, so to me, I believe that we need to create school cultures where students and parents are knocking the door down to get in instead of knocking the door down to get out. And the way we're able to do that is developing these programs where students feel that we are in tune, that we understand what's going on. When I know about where you come from, then I'll develop lessons that I know will interest you. That's how I get that engagement. And when students are engaged, then they'll find that joy. It's why I created my chess program, at Vaux Middle School, in Philadelphia, and at Thomas Edison Charter right now in Wilmington, Delaware. National championship program, great program to teach students critical thinking and problem solving, but also a great opportunity for exposure. There's a large achievement gap, but there's also a major exposure gap. So we want to be able to make sure that we're exposing students to critical thinking, problem solving early in life. And then for me, it was an opportunity, especially because once the girls became involved in our chess program, they just took over the program. which I love because that's an amazing experience for them because they're mathematically inclined and critical thinkers, but often they're moved away from science and mathematics. But I love getting those young ladies, involved in programs where they can show their strength and show their critical thinking. So that's a powerful opportunity for the engagement in our school. Dr. Rachel, I don't know if you're still with me,
Yeah.
but okay.
And I apologize because I think I'm still not quite there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I still have a delay, so I apologize for that.
If you want to, Zelda, if you want to chat with me off camera, reach out. Anybody want, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to both of us. We're both on social media quite often at Dr. Principal L. You can go to my website, principal.l.com, and I'll make sure you send me a message, and I'll definitely make sure I respond to you. For sure. We Dr. Echo Eckett and myself, we take great pride in being leaders who are amongst the people. The Pope came to Philly some years ago and said, "A good shepherd knows how the sheep smell, how the sheep feel." We are definitely shepherds in this business, in this world, and we want to make sure that we are able to accommodate you. So you just let me know whatever it is you need to do, and just reach out to me any number of ways, and I'll make sure that I respond and that we can talk. I also want to. I know Dr. Rachel had to uh, probably had to try to help get her audio and video together. But what I want to do for everybody who's still here is principal.l.com. You got it. You got it, Zelda. Reach out to me. And I might even send you I choose to stay shirt or a free book or something too when you reach out to me, Zelda. I appreciate everyone who was on here tonight because you have made a sacrifice. You have made some time for your own learning. And we all have families, we got careers, we try to get rest. But I think I truly believe the impact of an educator is not based on our ability to teach, but rather our ability to learn. So tonight we are all learning from each other and learning together. Dr. Rachel, are you back? You are back. I see you. Can you hear me? Brother Rich Torres out there
I
out
am
of
so
Minnesota.
sorry.
That's okay. But
Can you
glad,
hear me
glad,
now?
glad. Yeah, I can hear you. I was just shouting out Rich Torres in the chat. He's a school leader out in
I
Minneapolis,
am so
Minnesota.
sorry.
Yeah, proud of you, brother. Thanks for coming out. That shepherd knows, and the sheep know how the shepherd smell as well. So folks understand that. Dr. Rachel and I, we are available on social media. You reach out to us and we will reach back out to you for sure.
All right.
Okay, yep. Zelda, you said I'm speaking your language, I'm speaking your
Thank you so much,
pedagogy.
everyone. I apologize for the
That's all right.
delay and the technical issues that I had tonight. But Principal L, thank you so much for carrying this platform. All right.
No, we
I
got it.
apologize.
This
I
this
know
was a great.
the messages were impactful tonight, and we really appreciate everyone for being here tonight with us. I want to let you
Yeah.
know that we have a Strong Start Sunday coming up February 1st, and that's going to be with my co author, Principal Brad Johnson. And then we also
Yeah, a good shepherd knows how the sheep smell. A good shepherd knows how the sheep feel. They're not afraid to be amongst the sheep. Folks, go out there, be a great shepherd. Student-centered leadership. It matters. It's important. And Dr. Rachel Echo Edit, you are the best of the best. Thank you so much. And Dr. Sonia Matthew, you are amazing. You're on mute, Doc. You're on mute. We can't hear you. You're on mute. All right, everybody. Take care. Love you. We'll be in touch. Thanks for joining tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you. You're on that. I can hear you now, but thank you for everything that you've done
Oh
and
my
bringing that
goodness.
message. Yeah.
I
That's
am so sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
all right. Take care. Have a good night.